Hello, my beautiful creatives, and welcome back to my art channel. My name is Chrissie B, and I'm a creativity coach hoping to inspire you to live a more creative life every day. Well, as you saw, my desk is a hot mess, and that is because I'm getting ready to do my Creativity Rolodex Truth Cards. And this is my second video that I've done of these. I did my first Rolodex video sometime last year, probably in the middle of summer, if I remember correctly, and I just did not ever get back to them, and which to me is such a shame. So today is the best day to get started again. So today, one of the things I'm really focusing on in my Rolodex is I would like to use some of the photographs that I have been hoarding forever and ever. And I kind of collect images everywhere. In my daily life, I Google some images. I also find images on Pinterest. Just anything that makes me happy or inspires me or makes me want to create something a little bit different, a little bit new, they kind of go in my stash. Well, if you look at my stash, I have a ton of photographs. So I'm hoping to use some of these up in my Rolodex. You will notice you're actually just watching me play in my art studio. I thought I'm going to do some of these Creative Rolodex cards, and it would be fun to kind of like turn the camera on and let you watch. So you're going to see I'm doing a lot of changing up of photographs, changing out words. I'm kind of mixing things up over and over again. I'm constantly auditioning things to go on my cards. And then when I find something that makes me happy, then it gets to stay. One of those things that I got to use today, which I was super jazzed about, were these little bitty doilies. They're paper doilies. I love them so freaking much. I didn't know how to use it. I thought maybe I would use it as a tab at the top of the card. And then I decided, no, I didn't want to do that. And I thought maybe I would just use a portion at the top and just cut the excess off and then save the rest for another project. And that's the way I went with it this time. Now, the thing about doilies is I struggle with how to glue them down because they have so many holes in them. I use glue stick or Aleene's tacky glue normally, and all the glue kind of squishes through the holes. So I realize as I'm doing the voiceover, I probably could have used double-sided sticky tape because that would have been the smart way to do it, but I didn't think of it at the time. So I did make a little bit of a mess with my glue stick, but I cleaned up the mess and it seemed to work out all right. So I love the image that I had chosen for this card. This was a picture of myself that I had taken on a day I was having a really good day. And I accidentally had glued down 2 pieces of doily. So I just peeled that off. And I did, as you saw, crop that photo down because it was just a little too big for the card. And I adhered that down with Aleene's Fast Grab Tacky Glue. Now, because I was stuck and I didn't know what to do next on that card, I decided to move on to another card and just kind of set that one aside and let it dry. So here I am still playing with trying to figure out what words I wanted to go on each card, and I didn't really like this little phrase I had stuck on the card. I didn't actually stick it on, I just kind of set it on as an audition, and I decided to go into my stash where I have a lot of truths that I have just kind of typed up in a big Word document, all different kinds of things that I like to remember for myself, and I cut out one and put it down on the card. I don't think it's actually adhered, it's just kind of sitting there waiting for me to decide if I really like it or not. A lot of the photographs that I have are actually motivational thoughts and words and stuff. So sometimes I'll take one of those, which is what I'm doing here, and I really want to use it, but I want to crop it down so it fits the Rolodex card a little bit better. So that's what I'm doing here, is just trying to figure out how to make that fit. And you see, I mean, this is kind of the way my brain works. It just kind of keeps going round and round and round, trying to figure out how to make like what photograph with what image. Now I found this lady, she has her head back, she's laughing. I love this image so much that I decided to fussy cut her out a little bit so she would stand out on that page a little bit better. Trimmed her up, and then I decided to glue those words down because I finally figured out what I wanted to do for her. Back to my original card. I've decided that I like the phrase that I cut out, and I'm going to just glue it down. Now you'll see my camera cut out here. Basically what I did was I took a Stabilo pencil, which was a green one, and I just outlined not only the photo of the lady, but also the phrase that I had selected. And then I used a water brush to activate it. You'll see that I do that on a lot of these cards. And what I was doing today was I have 4 of those colors. I think I have a blue one, a green one, a black one, and an orange one, and I wanted to use all 4 of them today, so that's what I'm doing. Here is the blue Stabilo. I don't know, I like it because it makes the images seem to come off the page a little bit better. I did come back to that one. You saw I tossed it up above like I was done with it. And I came back and did it again because I didn't like the little white line that was showing between the photograph and the Stabilo. So I wanted to smudge a little bit better so it blended just a little bit better. Here I am searching for more words. And I love this card with my sweetie and myself. That was the same day as the other picture was taken. Just having such a good day. However, I didn't crop this one down, even though it probably could have been cropped down, because I didn't want to lose either myself or my hubby. So I left it as it was. So I went back to the Laughing Lady's photo and I decided to use black Stabilo on her. Just because she had a black shirt on, I thought it felt appropriate. And one of the things I'm doing as I'm setting these cards aside for the Stabilo, I want the Stabilo to completely dry so that I can doodle on top of it or do something on top of it without disturbing that little shadow that I've created. So here I'm using my Signo Broad white pen and just doing some scribbly marks around this. Just kind of accentuating through different kinds of doodles. This one's pretty scribbly though. I love that the best. That one's my favorite to use. Then I decided before I was finished with this one, I wanted to grab some alphabet stamps and I wanted to stamp some words on this card. So I pulled out a black stays on pad, which is a permanent ink pad, and my little word stamps, my little letter stamps, and just wrote out some letters, some words. I love my letter stamps. You'll never find me without them. Trust your journey, trust the process, raise your energy, and the right people will come into your life. Love, 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 love that card. Actually, you put so much time and effort into all of the cards, it's hard not to love them all. This card I decided to do some dashes around the image and the thought. And I did some more stamping for her too, that's right. I think I originally pulled out 6 cards and I believe I actually ended up doing 5. I don't know, once my creative mojo kind of poops out, then I can't force it. So I just have to kind of put my stash away and try again another day. Or move on to a different project, that works too. And this one, the word I stamped was strength. She has been through hell, so believe me when I say, fear her when she looks into a fire and smiles. Wahahaha. I just love that so much. That makes me just freaking happy. I'm excited to finally have some completed cards in my Creative Rolodex. I'm doing some scalloping around my image, and then I do some scribbly white marks around the words. And I believe on this one I do some journaling around the outside edge. Basically, I'm journaling about the thought itself, like giving myself a little bit of a pep talk through my journaling is what I'm doing here. Remember that you choose. Oh my God, isn't that truth? You choose. You may not choose your circumstances, but you do choose your attitude, and I have a hard time remembering that. Now the card for my hubby and I decided that I was going to journal across the entire Rolodex card. I just flipped the Rolodex card upside down so that way when you were looking at the card, you couldn't really tell that it was journaling. It just kind of looked like another layer of texture on the card. Plus, I knew that the photograph and the words would cover up a lot of this, so I wasn't too worried about like dumping my heart out and people being able to read it. I ended up really loving this card too. It made me super happy. Could be that my hubby's picture's on it. He's pretty sweet. I love it. I also grabbed some washi tape on this one. It is red washi tape with XOXO on it. I love that washi so much. So I felt like I needed to have a little bit of that for him. And I don't have my proper Rolodex punch out, which I do have, but I have it in storage. I don't know if you know this, but I've recently moved into a trailer, so my art studio is very tiny and I have to work with a limited amount of supplies because I have a limited amount of space. So I improvised here and I repunched through that photograph that was covering part of the hole using a hole punch and scissors. Seems to work out pretty well. More Stabilo. I think I used the same blue I used on the other card that had my photograph on it. And I'm just setting that aside so it will dry. And still racking my brain trying to figure out what to put on this card. For some reason I was stuck. And you know the funny thing is, out of all the cards, this one ended up being my favorite. I love that little orange star. There's some orange paint kind of smudge on the left, on the, is that right? Left? I don't know. I'm bad with left and right. On the right hand side of the card, there's some orange smudge down the side. And I really wanted to accentuate that orange. Then I went into my stash and I have these Tim Holtz paper cutouts that I've never ever used, but I absolutely adore them. So I grabbed one out and I found this one, and it's two little kids. They just look so freaking adorable. I love them. So then I went into my stash and tried to find a phrase that I thought would go well with that image. And I think I did a pretty good job. But I think I love this image. I love this card so much because one, the star is poking off of the top. So when I'm looking at my Rolodex, I'll be able to see it kind of hanging out. And I also just adore these little kids. They are so adorable. So I glue them down, glued the star down, glued them down, and I'm just trimming. And you might see me do it here where I take my hole punch and actually recreate the place for my Rolodex. Yeah, what do you call that? The Rolodex punch. Because I did cover it, as you can see. Just gluing my thought down. This one ended up being a little bit longer, the thought, which is pretty common for me. I love words. So there it is. I just did two holes, one above the other, and then I snipped the little end off. And it looks like a little Rolodex tab. And I used my last Stabilo, which is the orange Stabilo, and this time I did not water activate it because I really wanted the orange to kind of stand out. And I also liked the fact that the orange was really thin. There was a thin scribbly line around versus a really large fat one. Some more doodling, which I think I just did some scribbly marks, which you know is my favorite. It is about the story. I think that quote originally said, "It is not about the ending, it is about the story." Which is true. A little bit of stamping on my kiddos. I think I stamped happy. Do a little bit of doodling around them. And I used black instead of white because the colors in the background were really kind of light. And then I did some doodling around the words, I think in both black and white, if I remember correctly. Whatever you decide to do, make sure it makes you happy. Aren't those the cutest little kids? Oh my gosh. So I was super jazzed to put them in my little mini Rolodex. This is my small one. I have a big one too, but in the trailer, the little mini one is the one that made the cut. And here are my 5 cards. I'm so happy that I did these today. I hope this inspires you to try doing some cards of your own. I really think this is a fun project, and because they're so quick and easy, it's something that's a easy commitment, I think, time-wise especially. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.